We have a contract with terms settled. Now we're in business. This is exciting. We've crossed a big hurdle, but still have a way to go before crossing the finish line. Once the contract is all signed, the timeline begins. There is typically an option period, usually 7 to 10 days. During the option period, the buyer gets all the inspections done that they would like. Then they review the reports from the inspectors and try to negotiate with you, the seller, to do some repairs. This is more for deal breaker kinds of repairs than every single little thing that the inspector notes. If you and the buyer cannot come to terms on repairs or a price reduction, the buyer has the option to terminate the contract and get their earnest money back. Another thing about the option period is that the buyer doesn't even have to have a good reason to terminate. They can just plain old change their mind and just be out the $100 or $200 that they paid to you for this right. While the option period and inspections are going on, the buyer and their lender are working toward getting the buyer approved for the loan. The buyer will be submitting a list of documents including tax returns and bank statements. The bank reviews the documents and then submits the package to their underwriter for final review. This approval can usually be done within 15 days. The number of days is negotiated in the third-party financing addendum to the contract. The number of days holds the buyer accountable for getting all the documents submitted timely. If the buyer cannot qualify for a loan, they can terminate the contract. If the buyer is approved, the lender will then order the appraisal so they can be sure that the house is worth the amount that they're financing. This is another time that could present a problem for you, the seller, if the appraisal comes in at less than the contracted amount. There are 3 ways that this can be handled. 1, the buyer pays cash for the difference. 2, you, the seller, come down on price. Or 3, the buyer can terminate the contract without penalty. While all of this is going on, the title company will be doing their thing and preparing the title commitment. They'll send this to the buyer and seller along with any tasks or problems that need to be completed or resolved before closing. The listing agent will request all the information from the HOA during the early days of the contract as well. And they'll help with ordering the survey if the seller is to purchase this, as well as keeping check on just all the moving parts to make sure that everything is moving along toward a timely closing. There are more than 24 ways a buyer can get out of a contract and still get their earnest money back. This is why it's essential to hire an agent like myself who knows how to properly vet the buyer offers, have the right conversations, and ask the right questions to the buyer's agent and their lender. The buyer's earnest money is only at risk if they're in default. So I always advise my clients not to pack their bags until the option period's done and the buyer is approved for financing. Once these milestones are reached, you get a little relief and a little more assurance that the home sale will go through. You should be moving soon. Watch for my video called Clear to Close to find out what happens after the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Feel free to reach out to me personally so that we can discuss your needs and concerns. This will let me know how to properly advise and serve you. This has been Sherry Eccles, a helping hand for a happy home.